the cauldron beneath the moon.
And welcome back to another episode of The Witch and the Wise Man. I am D.E. Riley, the Wise Man, and this beautiful lady sitting next to me is...
The Witch, Tonya Steinborn.
How you doing, Tonya?
I'm great. I'm just drinking a little chicken bone, which is, it is Fireball whiskey and chocolate milk. Yeah, that's how I'm rolling today.
Why is it called a chicken bone?
Because here in Eastern Canada, we have a chocolate factory that makes these chocolates that are like, they look like little chicken bones. They're pink with like dark, like chocolate. It's like peppermint candy with chocolate in it, and they're called chicken bones. So that's kind of basically what this is, cinnamon whiskey with chocolate milk.
Oh, okay. So if any of you out there want the recipe to that and more,
Contact me.
yeah, please contact us at our Gmail listed below here, and we'll get that right out to you.
We're putting out a cookbook soon.
Yes. She'll have the recipe to chicken bones, and I'm kind of a simple guy. Mine's just bourbon, on ice or without. That's the only two ways.
That's the variables, on the rocks or not.
All right, so what are we talking about tonight? What are we going to get into? We talking about tonight?
So we're talking about love, loss, and soul contracts, past lives, karmic relationships, trauma bonds, soulmates, and when love is not meant to last, it's meant to awaken.
This ought to be interesting. We both have experience. And I think this is something that a lot of people are going to connect with. In fact, I don't know of anybody that could not get connected to this topic in one way or another. And it can be kind of dangerous, too. So I have to watch what I say. Love is pretty much what it breaks down to tonight. We're going to talk about love in everyone's life. And the magic of love and the magic that it brings into your life. But along with the love that we all seek, crave, and experience, you're going to encounter the loss. And it can be devastating, and how you handle that. Some people have a hard time dealing with the loss part. And it's never easy. It's either way it goes, it's never easy. I, for one, I just gave up. I just gave up on love completely. I'm done. I didn't know. It was getting too serious, so I thought I'd back out and throw a little levity out there. But what's?
I'm still seeking love. Just saying. Just put it out there.
And once again, our email is at the bottom of the screen. If you need to contact either Tonya and I concerning this, or any other affair of the heart, magic, or mixed drink recipes, you can catch us right there. So I'm gonna let you take this and run, because I have a tendency of starting to talk and then you can't shut me up. So I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, oh boys, this is quite the topic. Why did we pick this? Just kidding.
It seems like it should be easy, right? It seems like it should be easy, because we have both experienced everything about this topic. But now it's time. We got to open up now. Now we got to get real and honest with ourselves and everybody else, and throw it out there about
about all that.
About that four-letter word.
And a bag of chips. Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think, too, when you are living a magical life, it complicates things, too, right? Because You throw in trauma bonds, you throw in soul contracts, karmic relationships, and suddenly things are a little bit more complex than finding somebody you kind of like and deciding to build a life with them, right? So, yeah, it's been a journey, Dave. It's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Yeah. It's the
I blame Disney. I'm just going to say that. I blame Disney for my concept of what relationships are supposed to be as a child. You think it's supposed to be you meet Prince Charming and he sweeps you off your feet and then you live happily ever after. And it's proven to be a little bit more complicated than that.
Now, see, in that same light, I blame Hallmark because Hallmark Christmas movies are literally the most dangerous thing in the world for relationships because starting at a very young age, they're pumping out these wholesome little movies about, let's see, here's a Hallmark scenario right off the top of my head. Brilliant big city lawyer, independent female,
Yes.
drives around in a limousine, millions of dollars, decides Christmas in Vermont sounds like a great idea. So she packs her shit, takes a vacation, and goes to Vermont. While in Vermont, she gets the urge, it is Christmas. I think I'll go buy a Christmas tree. She goes down the Christmas tree lot where here's this really handsome guy making minimum wage, selling Christmas trees,
Right.
and they fall in love.
Yeah, live happily ever after.
And live happily ever after. And
Yeah.
there is this huge misconception about falling in love from these freaking movies and from Disney. And these, like I said, at a very young age, these girls get it in their heads that this is how it's supposed to be. This is the magic that we have to seek and find and romance, that this is it.
Yeah.
And that ain't it.
That ain't it.
I'm
It's a little bit
sorry.
more
That's
complicated.
not life. That is as far from real life as you can possibly get. It really is. It's
It's fantasy.
definitely. I mean,
Definitely is fantasy. And I think part of that messaging too, especially like coming from my perspective when I talk about like the Disney princess and meeting Prince Charming is that somehow, like, I'm talking from a female perspective now, somehow we need Prince Charming to rescue us.
right.
Like it's that damsel in distress, and so we're looking Prince Charming to rescue us. And those kind of messages are, that we're not whole. We need to find that other piece of ourselves to be whole, so that we're seeking, right? And that we need to be rescued as females, right? Like, and so those kind of messages, although it seems innocent, does really impact, what you look for and what you're seeking, especially as a impressionable young person. And yeah, it's far more complicated. And like I said, once you start talking like the energetic, the magical part of things as far as soul contracts and soulmates and stuff like that, like there's a lot of misconceptions about soulmates. You're looking for your soulmate because, you're twin flames, you're meant to be together. And, my experience and, when you really start to dig into these things, these soulmates or these karmic relationships can be very, very painful. And they are not this beautiful thing necessarily. They can be, you're come together because you've contracted certain experiences, and not all those experiences are great.
Right.
They're not always great, and they can be challenging, and they can destroy you in some cases. So, I think as magical, spiritual people, it is definitely more complicated because we also have a higher calling that we have to answer to.
Yes.
We also have our own soul mission that we have to answer to.
And
So,
if that person is not in line with that mission, then there's going to be conflict.
problems.
There's
Yeah.
no way around it. Um,
Yeah.
and to think, you know, that you can go into a relationship like that. Well, I can change this person and, you know, and get rid of all that nonsense. Doesn't work like that. Sorry. Never has, never will. A person is a person. If you're going into a relationship thinking you're going to change them, then you should not be going into that relationship at all. Okay. The way I look at it, you should be accepting of who they are and what they do. If not, be in collaboration with them, you know, and believe the
Yeah.
same way. And that's the hard part. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that say, "Oh yeah, I'm spiritual and I'm magical and I practice, witchcraft or Wicca or I'm a pagan or whatever." And then you get to know them and you're going, "I don't know where you read that," but that's no, and it's hard. It's really, really hard to connect with a person, on that level. And you've experienced it. I've experienced it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, you know, the other aspect is like perhaps you could be, and this was an experience of mine, is that we were on the same spiritual path. We were on the same spiritual journey together, but then people change, things happen, and then suddenly you're walking together, and then you're like this.
Right.
You're on completely different paths, and um, then what do you do? Like, do you just hope that person's going to come back around and start walking the same path with you again? Or when do you throw in the towel? When do you realize, oh, we're not going to ever walk on the same path? And then, is it necessary to have to be on the same path too? Like those are the questions that come up a lot too. And I'm sure, if you're as a listener, you've experienced this as far as like, okay, I can practice my craft and my spiritual path. And it's okay that my partner doesn't. It's okay. They can have a completely mundane life. They can do their own thing. I can do my own thing, and it's okay. But is it okay? Like, how do you proceed through life when on like a very base soul level, you have completely different journeys?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that possible?
Yeah. I honestly, from my experience, I don't think it is. Because the more your paths drift apart and start going in separate directions, the more and more and more differences you're going to find and things you're going to see and things you're not going to agree on. Even though 3 years ago you agreed on the same thing, now it's like you're not connecting anymore. You're not seeing eye to eye. There's that short circuit in there, and when that starts happening, when that short starts sparking, things start coming apart. They start dropping out, and that's when people get to the point of saying, "Okay, well, that's fine. You don't want to do this with me. I'll go do it by myself. I don't need you."
Right.
And
Right.
there, boom, there's the hammer that just fell. I don't need you. When you
Right.
say that it's done. It's done at that point, because what you're going to do, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying what you're going to do is you're going to go walk off into your light and your magic and your spiritualness, and you're gonna bump into somebody that does think the same way you do, and then
Yeah.
things start tumbling and coming completely unraveled, and nobody wants to go through that. You have to be sure from the beginning that you guys are sharing this journey. in my opinion. You got to be on that same path, and you got to stay on that same path.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be pulling apart from each other, is what I'm saying, in the first place.
Yeah.
You should be
Yeah.
working to build that relationship and build each other and support each other. And when you do that, then that love will grow and you know, infinitely and exponentially. And that's when you keep falling in love with that person over and over and over and over again, because you're sharing this life. You're sharing this experience. You are no longer two people. You are one person. And you are, you know, building this life together.
But that's so highly unattainable, is what I have experienced in my own life and what I've witnessed other people experience in their own life. It's like, it's kind of like the deeper you get into your own spiritual path, the harder it is to maintain a intimate relationship. I mean, that's what I have to this point in my life discovered is, and I've really looked at that and really asked myself a lot of questions about that, as far as like, well, do we have to, as long as we're working on personal development and our own spiritual path, like, okay, maybe I can be a witch and you can be a Christian. Like, maybe, there's ways we can find common ground as long as we respect each other's beliefs and we respect each other's paths. But at some point, on a really fundamental level, there's conflict. So you have your normal relationship issues and challenges, as far as like, past hurts and baggage and trauma and love languages, and you have all that normal people would face and deal with. But now you have this layer of, on a fundamental soul level, a conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, and I have experienced this, I've really tried to navigate being in relationships with people who've had very different fundamental belief systems. They were spiritual, but they were Christian, let's say. And for me, having a past as being raised in a fundamental Christian cult and having trauma and pain around that, as much as I really tried to go like, it's okay, everybody has their own beliefs, to have somebody reading the Bible next to me while I have my witch books beside me, was like, like that's tough, man. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's really hard. And so, but there was a lot of growth, that personal growth that came out of that, of course, but it it didn't work, because at a very base soul level and moral level and outlook on life, it very much affects the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It just does, it just does. So I think for people who are very much into their spiritual path and their growth as far as that, relationships can be challenging, really challenging, because I'm speaking for myself personally, as I tend to really pour myself into my intimate partners.
Mm-hmm.
And then I lose myself.
Right.
That's been my experience, is that I tend to get drifted off of my path. So then I'm at this point in my life where, yes, I'm seeking love, I'm seeking a relationship at some point. I'm not in a hurry, nothing like that. But, of course you do. Of course you want that. But then, is that going to distract me from what I'm supposed to be doing? Is that going to veer me off my path? Or could that complement me?
Right.
Like, and I've been really looking into a lot of that. Like, healers, people like myself, I have to have intimate relationships with a person who's a protector. I need somebody in my life who's going to protect me, almost for myself, in the way that I'm such a giving, loving person who pours myself to you, that they have to be that person to really help me stay grounded, really help me feel safe and secure, so that I can really dive into my spiritual journey and sink into my feminine roles. So I think that's a big part of it too, is really recognizing I am a spiritual being. I am a healer, and this is my higher calling. I need somebody to complement that. And maybe their role isn't that they have to have the same belief system, but that they respect and protect me so that I can move forward on my journey and my path.
Excuse me. Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you there. That person, that someone, absolutely would have to insist that you stay true to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They cannot be that energy vampire that sucks the life out of you. For their own gain, basically, is all it is. So they would have to support. They would have to walk that path with you. They would have to protect you as you guide them. It's a 50-50 relationship. Going down that path. And again, where do you find that? That's.
Is there a website? Is there a dating app for that?
No, I don't know if there is or not, but let me put up our Gmail one more time. It's at the bottom of the screen.
Right?
If you guys think you fit the bill and you think you can walk that path with Tonya, there's how to get a hold of her right there. Oh, and you gotta love the coast and cold weather, I guess.
Yeah. No, I don't love the cold weather. That is not necessary.
But yeah, it's and it gets so twisted and so convoluted, and
I think that's
the
why.
thing is, I suck at it. I suck at love. My kids don't even come to me for advice. For love. They don't. They know
Mine
better.
either. Mine either.
So
I'm the last person.
Yeah, I told them a long time ago. I said, look, you guys want advice on love? Go find that couple that's been married for 50 years, and are happy with one another. I ain't the guy to do it. I'm not even gonna try, because it's not in my cards. So it's one of those things that when do you say enough is enough? Is what I went through. When you say I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore. That was another thing that I had to be honest with myself. That you just give up. Throw it in the air and buy a goat and live in a cave, like we said in the last episode.
Previous.
But
I do think there's something to be said to that. You do see a lot of soul practitioners.
And is it realistic?
Yeah.
Is it realistic, or is it just another fucking Hallmark movie? Yeah. I don't know. My parents were married forever. I mean, they were married until they died.
Same with
and that's what we grew up with. We grew up in a household with the same parents, all forever. And all of us kids were like, that's what we want. That's the kind of relationships we want. Out of 3 kids, none of us got that, So, not a one of us. So
it's challenging, especially as if you have a higher calling.
And especially today, because we're in a throwaway society. Face it, everything is, you don't make it work, you throw it away. So, including relationships, ain't gonna work, throw it away. And a lot of it's just a hookup mentality too, as far as relationships go anymore. There's not that. I don't know. I don't even know what you call it. It goes beyond love, and I don't know if there's a word for that.
Well, but then that brings up, I guess another, well, not topic, but like another question as far as like, is society, is relationships, are they evolving into something different? Like, are we going to have a society that's more fluid in relationships? Like, is it going to be more touch and go? Is that the way it's meant to be, or is that just a sad byproduct of capitalism and the society, the way it's degrading, right? I don't know. I don't have those answers. As far as, there is speculation that relationships will just be more fluid. That's just the way it's going to be. But I just, that makes me kind of sad if that's true, because I do think that there's something to be said for the power couple. Like the power couple. You see these couples that are just so dynamic, and you can see how they complement each other and how they support each other, and but I just, it's getting more rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, and then like I said, when you throw in, when you start to add these layers of our, these contracts. Like, I personally, this is my philosophy. I believe that we predestine we predestine relationships, people to come into our lives. It's that whole thing, reason, season, or a lifetime, right? And at the end of the day, I don't know if me personally, if I'm meant to be to grow old with somebody. I don't know that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. I don't know. But I know that each relationship I have taken lessons and growth out of it, and they have made me look at my own judgments, it's been a mirror, right? Like, they've challenged me. And maybe that's the purpose. Maybe it was about soul growth. Maybe it's about challenging for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what these contracts and these arrangements are.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
It's just, I mean, it's one of those things. You mentioned somebody to grow old with. What happens when you're old? Now it becomes, oh, I'm looking for somebody to die with. That's really romantic, because that's where, I mean, that's where a lot of people are at in life. That's, that's reality. So there's got to be that cutoff point in my mind that you just go, that's it.
And that's just where you're at. You're at this, like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm tapping out.
Yep. I'm enjoying life. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
I really am. But
Yeah.
I'm happy and healthy and I got great friends and great families and I just couldn't ask for anything more. But the getting back to finding that soulmate, that spiritual connection. I don't even know how you would go about whittling down through all the layers of somebody to find that match with you. I would love to be able to sit here and say, yeah, I'm so wise, I got an answer for you. But that's not the case, because love is probably the biggest mystery in the world. There's just, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I wish I had an answer for the situation of how does a spiritual person connect with another spiritual person on the same level, with the same ideas, the same thoughts, the same practices.
But
Where is that?
But is that necessary? That's the things I'm questioning. Is, do you have to be on the same path, or can you can that person be just a strong protector energy that's okay to be a supporting role, like stabilizer, so that you can grow, so that you can fully sink into your practice? But is there always going to be a challenge if you're both on this path of, like, I have a higher calling, I have this, spiritual path I have to walk, and you have to walk your own, for us to have enough commonality to be like, okay, we're going to work? Or is that just going to be bigger problems? Like, is that going to be harder? Like, those are the questions that I'm really at in my life, is like, maybe I don't need somebody to be hyper spiritual like me and that's their whole thing. Maybe I just need somebody who's going to be there for me, who's going to be secure, who's going to be grounded, who's going to allow me to shine. Right. Without having this competitive, like, no, I'm going to shine, or I'm going to be the spiritual this, and I'm going to, like, how do you have those two energies in a relationship?
And in the same light, if you don't share in those beliefs and those practices, then how long before there's that factor of that green-eyed monster set in and going, you're spending a lot of time doing this healing work and doing this witchcraft and stuff. I want you to pay more attention to me instead of doing that.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, and I think that's the challenge, right? It almost becomes your spiritual path or your journey or your craft almost becomes like the other woman or the other man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that that's caused problems in my relationships. Is my priority of like this is something I'm called to do. Like, it's who I am. Like, I have to do this. Yeah. Do I have? Honestly, at the end of the day, I think it's balance, right? Like, relationships, love it's a plant. If you don't water it, it's going to die, right? So I think, with any relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's an intimate partner relationship, people want to feel love. They want to feel like they're a priority. They want to feel like they matter to you. They want to feel important. And so I think, like, as someone who has a higher calling, who is, dedicated to my path, I have to honor and respect the people in my life, not just intimate partners, my family, my friendships, is that these are also a very important part of my human experience here, right? Like, my experience as a soul is relationships too. And so my challenge is that I've given too much to the other relationships and not enough to my own path. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I'm, like, seeking and challenging myself to go, okay, listen, like, yes, I have my own path. I have this higher calling. But part of that is making sure that my relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's an intimate relationship, that they also feel the love, the value, that they feel important to me because they are. And that's where I think balance at the end of the day is what we have to look for, because yes, we have these other things pulling at us, these contracts and these karmic attachments and these soul ties and all that, but at the end of the day, it's how, if your personal calling is making the people in your life feel devalued, if they don't feel important, if they don't feel nurtured and loved, you're not doing something right. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I look at it. You're missing, you lost the plot.
Yeah. Well put. Yeah, there's trying to figure out how I want to say what I want to say. because, like I said, there's some things I have to tread lightly. But
Why? Why tread lightly?
because
I'm in my villain era. I'm in my I'm living authentically. If you don't like it, I don't care. Turn off the podcast if you don't
uh,
like it. You know,
I'm
go
fixing to
find
piss
some.
some people off.
Just turn it off. If you don't like it, just turn it off. Turn into something else, because like that. Let's be real.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's be raw, because
I,
that's
there's just I think there's a maturity level there, also that your partner has to have, and an open mindedness that they have to have, to accept, you know, and like you were saying, if they're not in cahoots with what you're doing, their belief system is different.
yeah.
That is really, really, really important. They have to have that understanding. They have to have that compassion. And they have to
Respect.
love you that much to allow you to follow that path and support you 100%.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these days, it's me, That's what you get more often than not is, well, what about me? What are you going to do for me? How is this going to benefit me? And that's the
But that's
mindset,
not
I
love.
think. No,
That's
no,
not love.
I
That's
agree.
not
Oh,
love.
I absolutely agree. But that's the mindset that most people have today. You
In
know,
relationships, yeah.
in relationships, it's all about what am I getting from this relationship, and it's not what you're getting. It should be what you're giving. You have to
Exactly.
both give. You have to support one another in whatever you do, in life. That is a necessity. That is a must. That has to happen, because if there's any conflicts, there's gonna be a little rocky ride there that may get way out of hand real fast.
Yeah.
And we
But
don't.
but I think at the end of the day, that's you know what is love like love is not, if you love somebody, you could not watch them shrink. You could not watch them diminish themselves in any way. You could not watch them suffer. You could not watch them be less than what their potential is. And I think that's where we have to ask those questions. Like, this isn't love. This is trauma bonding, right? Like, a lot of people get in relationships because they've trauma bonded,
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
and that's not love. That's trauma. And love, like, if you love somebody, you want the best for them, whether it's with you. If you can't give them what they need and support them and love them and watch them flourish, if you actually love them, you'll let them go, or you'll do what you need to do in order for them to flourish. That's actually, in my opinion, that's love.
Mm-hmm.
The rest is trauma, is bonding out of convenience, is you know it's a whole lot of other shit, but it sure in heck ain't love,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I, I hate. I don't hate. That's not the word I'm looking. I think that I don't know. I'm literally I'm at a loss for words, and I shouldn't be, because I am such an expert on this topic, that I shouldn't be right now at a loss for words. But there is I think a real divide in our beliefs and the way people believe these days, or lack of beliefs that people have these days, that's causing a rift, and that's causing a major shift in the timeline, the matrix of relationships anymore. Things become
Yeah.
too easy. It becomes too easy, and when it becomes too easy, it becomes too fucking tempting. You are in a relationship together. You need to be in that relationship together. Okay. I think, and I talked to a friend of mine here not too long ago about this, and we were both in agreement on it. That I think the thing that's killing relationships, and the thing that's ruining love, and the thing that's ruining commitments, is the internet. It makes it too easy. Too easy. There's too much in your hand. And when you have that much in your hands, that's a lot of power. Think about when my parents were married back in the 50s, the 40s and the 50s. They didn't have all that. You didn't have all that outside bullshit that you have today. You're getting pounded with it. Because I'm not just talking about going out and looking for other women or perusing porn sites or any of that shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking, you see these other people out there and they're giving you their opinions on how things should be, just like you and I are doing right now, on how things should be and what their thought should be, what they think the thought process should be. And all these podcasts on relationships and all these podcasts with women bitching about what guys are like and guys bitching about what women are like, and people are paying attention, even if it's a 30-second little snippet on TikTok, and they're going,
Yeah.
they got something there.
Yeah.
That
That's
outside influence is really rocking the boat, and it's making it even more difficult.
Well, and I agree 100% agree with that. Like, I think, and I'm seeing it more and more too. And you're not the first person who I've talked to about the challenges of social media and how that's really hard on relationships. It's that separation of gender. It's like, well, I had a girlfriend that cheated on me, so all women are blah blah blah, and it's like. It's that idea that the masculine and the feminine, like this experience with this feminine energy was terrible, and so women are assholes, and so I'm going to look for that 30-second clip that completely justifies my feelings on that. And it's like it's toxic. It's toxic, and it's about separation, because at the end of the day there is people who are unethical, unmoral, who are broken and don't want to heal in both genders.
Right.
Whether you be male or female, it is not a masculine thing or a feminine thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's people. And so, when we start playing in that duality of like all women are like this or all men are, it's lost. You've lost.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not about that. Like, I've had some horrific experiences with masculine energy. Horrific. But I love men. I love good men. That's so attractive to me. A strong, masculine energy who takes care of his family, who supports his partner, who is there for you, who is that rock, who, like that. My dad was like that. My brothers were like that. Like, I grew up with really good masculine energy. And so even though I've had experiences with masculine energy that was extremely harmful to me, I do not paint men with that paintbrush. Those were broken individuals that I believe I was contracted to on a soul level to have certain experiences with, because that's what my soul has determined it needs to experience here in this meat puppet that I'm wearing at this journey around in this lifetime. And so I don't look at all men like that at all. And so I think people really need to stop that bullshit, because it is not all men. It is not all women. It was people that you were. It's that whole thing going back to like this topic about like we're attracted and we're connected to people for various reasons.
Right.
On a soul level, on an energy level. And sometimes we're attracted to people and we think it's because they're our twin flame, they're our soulmate. And in reality, we're attracted to them because we recognize them as that person, that energy that's going to give us that experience that we have chosen
Right.
this lifetime.
Right.
And so when you start to look at relationships as contracts, as experiences that your soul has determined to have in this lifetime, it kind of takes a little bit of that. You take it a little less personal, if that makes sense. Like I don't take it as I'm, oh, I had this happen to me and boo-hoo, I'm a victim. Like I don't look at it that way. I go like, okay, these are experiences that really pushed my soul development in the direction that I chose to have in this lifetime. Do I want to repeat that? Do I want to experience that again? No, I do not. I do not want to experience that again. I want to experience true love, partnership, support. So when you start to look at love and relationships as these experiences and contracts and to learn from them, it does take that like punch, I guess, out of the pain. That's really helped me throughout my life, is to look at it through that framework.
Right. And and once again, finding that someone, because I think once again the greatest magic in the world is love. I mean, there's nothing greater, and to be on a spiritual and magical level in this world, you find a lot of love, but you don't find the love, that one that you're looking for, and it can be very frustrating and it can be very hard, it takes a lot of energy to go down that path, and I respect you for that a lot, because ain't happening with me, no. But I hope.
But I'm sure you've had those types of relationships with people, like intimate, loving relationships with people in your life, friendships that are, they're your ride or die, they're your people, and maybe you're not in an intimate sexual relationship with, but you have all those other aspects too, right?
Right. And it's
and that's love.
Yeah. It's there's a I mean there's many types, many forms of love, and I don't even know how to define what love is. I don't think there's a definition that would satisfy me as far as that goes, because there's so many different kinds and so many different layers and levels. But
it's complex, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, and especially when you turn around and you're throwing spirituality into the mix and magic into the mix, and witchcraft or paganism into the mix, because that's not a widely practiced or accepted thing. I mean, even today, 21st century, don't tell anybody, but I'm a witch, They keep it on the down low, because I don't want people thinking,
No.
Well, you don't, you don't, but there's a lot of people I know that are like that. I'm like, why? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Yes, in that sense, still being persecuted, and there's a lot of people out there that are still persecuting witches that are blind to ignorant. I don't just call it just ignorance, But
But if you don't accept those parts of yourself, if you don't stop judging those parts of yourself and come out of the spiritual closet, so to speak, how do you expect to find a partner who's going to love and respect those parts of yourself if you're not accepting and loving those parts?
I agree. I agree 100%. I was not by any means saying that is a bad thing. I'm just saying that's kind
It's
of
hard.
the way shit is right now, and it is hard.
Yeah.
It is tough.
Yeah.
There's not a club. There's no place
There
to go
probably
and
is.
hang out. Yeah, you're right. There probably
It
is.
probably is. We just don't know about it.
I'm too old for that noise
We're
anymore.
on the loop.
So, but yeah, it's I wish you all the luck in the world on your journey, down that path.
Thanks.
I know, it's not an easy row to hoe sometimes, and to maintain both your spirituality and your femininity or masculinity, as the case may be, in a relationship, throwaway society, a hook-up and go society. So yeah, I wish you luck.
But I
and
think-
thank you for that.
But I think it's starting to turn around. I really do. I think people are starting to get exhausted of the surface level relationships, of the toss away relationships. I do feel like we've went through a period of that. Like that's what we as a society has really, with the Tinder, the swipe, like a catalog
Right.
of a catalog of human beings at the end of the day who are all seeking really love in some form or the other. I do feel like that is starting to get real old. It's not because it's not satisfying you on a soul level.
Yeah.
That touch and go, that toss away, that is not going to satisfy us
No,
on a
no.
deeper level. And I do feel, and I'm starting to see people really saying like, no, I want real connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hear it all the time. I want real connection. But in order to have a real connection with another human being, with another soul, you have to have that with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the foundation of it, is develop that soul connection with yourself, that deep connection with yourself. Because so many people, let's face it, are completely disconnected.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you're disconnected in a world looking for somebody who wants to connect with you, and you can't even connect with yourself?
Right.
Like, come on.
It's maddening, and here we have talked for an hour on this subject, and I don't think we got really anywhere. Honestly, you know what I think we need to do with this? Honestly, what we need to do with this, we need to do a live podcast.
I agree.
A new
Yeah.
podcast to where people can actually get a hold of us while we're talking and give
This
us
is a great idea.
cents worth, because I think everybody's going to have a different kind of opinion on this, and I would like to hear other people's input also. That would be very fascinating
Yeah,
to me, for sure.
that's a great idea.
For sure, but that will be another time. For this time, I think
Yeah.
we're just about all out of. So, guys, thank you again for tuning in to The Witch and the Wise Man. I wish you love, I wish you peace, I wish you happiness on your journey through this magical life. Tonya, any last words?
No,
No.
I think we've left them with more questions than answers.
Yeah, we probably have. So just remember, guys, there's our Gmail at the bottom of the screen again, and anything you want to talk about concerning this or any other subject, including mixed drink recipes or or other really bad dating advice, you can contact us at thewitchandwiseman@gmail.com. Tonya, as always, thank you. I love you, dear. And we will do this again real soon.
Bye.
Good night.
Her laughter is shadow.
Remember, you can reach either Tonya Steinborn or D.E. Riley at thewitchandwiseman@gmail.com. Also, if you prefer to watch our podcasts, you can find us on YouTube or Spotify video at The Witch and the Wiseman.